My co-host, Anthony Aiken, is kind of a little under the weather. So I'll be doing the show along with guest hopefully coming in is Vita Brooks, the VSO officer for the Georgia Department of Veteran Services. Uh, this is, as I said, you're listening to WCEG Network. We are streaming live. You can watch us on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You can also tune in at WCEG Network, WCEG Talk Radio, uh, and hopefully Vita Brooks will be joining me. And our disclaimer is the topics and opinion of those of the show hosts and guests, not WCEG Network. Thank you for your support. We are a nonprofit, and our business office and contact number is 404-490-8646. So that's the introduction. And today we plan to talk about veteran services in the current services, and also how to, if you are interested, if you are a veteran and you are disabled or need better medical help or support, or take advantage of, you would like to take advantage of your opportunity as a veteran at the VA, as people know and people that talk to certain one of us, the first document that you need to be able to do this is your DD 214. And a lot of us, after we left the military, we might still have the original, or we might have displaced it. So if you displace your original DD 214, you need that to be able to get started requesting services from the VA, whatever services that you we all earn our benefits and entitlements. So if you're a veteran, you earn the right to apply to the VA for your benefits and entitlements. So that's no question about that. But a lot of us veterans, number one, don't know where our DD2 form, DD form 214 is your separation papers. Yeah. So if you need to get a new one of those, there are processes to do that. I will talk about that later. And the other situation may be that you just decided that you as a veteran, when you was discharged and receive your separation papers, you have them, but you haven't applied to even get in the system. So if either one of those cases, we need to get you in the system first, then go through an intake process to determine what you may be available for. And that is where veteran service organizations and veteran services officers comes into play. A lot of us, including myself, we decide to do the paperwork individually on our own, and the probability of that being it works good, but the probability of that being good, because we are not like service officers that does these type things every day. We do it just for ourselves. So the service officers have input. They know the direct forms you should use and all of those things. So that's why I recommend a service officer in a service organization. And for an example, Vita Brooks worked for the Georgia Department of Veteran Services. They have in Georgia, in all states, have Department of Veteran Services. But in Georgia, there are approximately 13 in Metro Atlanta area. And throughout the state, throughout Georgia, the state of Georgia, there is over 100. I don't have the exact number, but there's over 100 that is available to help you. So first of all, get in the system. Next, my recommendation is to interview a service organization. In addition to Georgia Department of Veteran Services, the VA here in Atlanta, in Georgia, we have a VA in Dublin, Georgia, and we have a VA in Augusta. The VA has service officers also, and they also have service some locations throughout the state where there are veteran service officers that works for the VA. So that's another opportunity. The next opportunity are the organizations like American Legions, VFW, DAV, Disabled Veterans, and those are some of the major ones. The big six is what so that in addition to those, there's actually over 100 organizations in Georgia that does help you with veteran services and with your claim processing and getting you into the system. So there are many ways to do that. I have a veteran service office organization also. Mine is Veteran Helping Veterans, and I'll give you the contact information on that one also. My co-host Anthony Aiken has one. He specializes in helping blind veterans. So we have quite a few opportunities to help you with your veteran services claims and getting you in the system. And let me just do some general questions regarding the veteran services. Well, there's a rating in the veteran services. Once you the one question I was going to begin with, I asked about 100% disability. But before I go there is the process of, for an example, the veteran administration is actually in three parts. It's the people that work there. Their acronym is VBA, and there's the Veteran Medical Department, which is separate from the Benefit Department, and the National Cemetery Department. So, so when you filing a claim, the two organizations that are prominent are either you ask for medical benefits at the hospital, or you're filing a claim for compensation. which deal with disability that was because that was the reason for the disability is because you were in the military and there was some activity within the military that contribute to your disability. And the National Cemetery part is just well, it's not just, it's a part that we don't like to talk about, which is the barrier part. Is Vita live? Unmute.
I'm live.
I can hear you now. Good afternoon. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I was just getting started, but before we get started, let me tell our audience who you are. The young lady on the screen that is Vita Brooks. She's Women in Diversity Inclusion Coordinator for the Georgia Department of Veteran Services. She has a long resume, which I will not read, and she's also the American Legion Post commander in Newnan. So let's get started on this journey. And you're an experienced veteran service officer. So I was tell the audience in order to really file a claim or to go through the system, you need to make sure you're in there first and how you get in there and what is the process.
Okay.
So what's on your mind?
All right. So the first thing I want to say is, first of all, Herman, thank you so much for having me. So let's just talk about if you want to file a claim. You can go online and you do it electronically. You can put your paperwork in and you can file it, or you can seek some help from a certified VSO. Now, most of your certified VSOs, 98% of them are free. There are some out there who call themselves agents and they charge. So, I mean, if you have the money, you can go ahead and pay a lawyer or agent, or you can find a certified VSO that is free. And they're from all kinds of, you can find them all over. You can look up and see if somebody gives you their name. You can look up their accreditation number and see if they're really certified. So there are some safety things. But let's talk about, you're a veteran and you want to file a claim. There are three things that need to be clear when you file your claim. One, there was an incident or an event in service that caused you to have a disability. The second one is you have to be diagnosed with that disability. And then the third thing is you have to show where you've had continuity of care, which means that you've been treated for that disability from the time you left service all the way to present. And that's even if you got out of the service at 67, they're looking for evidence that you were treated from 1967 to 2023. That's what they're looking for.
And I just want to add to that is we're really talking about are your medical records, either from the VA or from private doctor, but wherever that's part of the documentation you need are your medical records.
Yes. So when you are uploading the information or turning information into your VSO, you only need to turn in your private records. If you've seen a civilian, or if you were married to a civilian I mean, you were married to a service member. Let's say you both served, but then you got out first. Your records are now under your spouse's social security number because you become a dependent. So those military records become dependent records. So they just pull them out of that one folder and stick them in the folder that matches their social security number. So even if you're divorced, you have to make sure you let them know that you were married to a service member from this time to this time so that they can retrieve those records from the right places. So like I was saying, yeah, so you only really need to send in your your civilian records. The VA can access all the VA records from all the VAs across the country to include Guam and Puerto Rico. What they cannot get, though, if you have mental health issues and you were seen at a vet center, they cannot get those records. You have to personally go in, get those records, and then send them in yourself.
Well, that's good information. That's why you're an expert. you give our audience all the little details that it really helps service officers out. So if people are prepared when they come, what you just went through, that increases your probability of your claim being approved, that it goes through smoothly without a lot of callbacks and all that good stuff. Yes,
that is very helpful. And I will tell you, when you're talking about mental health, if you were sexually assaulted or physically assaulted, you need to get that police report. And if it happened on base, they still have it. No matter how many years back, they still have it. And they will send it directly to you. A VSO can't get that for you because it's private. But you can fill out a release of a FOIA form, and they will send it directly to you. And now everything's electronic, so they will also email it so you can get it quickly.
Okay, another thing about VSOs, it's my understanding that the Georgia Department of Veteran Services has VSOs available and the VA has VSOs available. Is that correct?
So that is correct. The Georgia Department of Veteran Service, in the state of Georgia, we are the certified VSOs, and we are certified under several different organizations. And so, yeah, so you can go to we have 55 offices now. So you can go in any of those 55 offices and we can go ahead, we can file your claim. We have VSOs at the regional office, but those VSOs are set aside to do appeals. So they don't normally file claims. They usually only do appeals. Now, if you're up there for an appeal and they went through your records and they find that there was something you should have filed for that you didn't, most often they'll go ahead and file that for you so they don't send you to another one. But we are also located within VA hospitals here in Georgia and in the C box. So we try to make it so the veteran can go to a doctor's appointment and then come down and see us so that they don't have to travel several different places.
Okay, in the C box, in the communities like in Atlanta, there are I don't know how many the VA has, but there are quite a few C box and
and we're also in the vectors, the veteran center for training. We're in those. So we're in the new one that just opened up. And so, yeah. So if you go to our email, if you go to our website, it'll show you where all of our VSOs are. But if you belong to an organization, you can actually invite VSOs to come out to your location if you have a group of people who have questions or need help. The VSO from your area can come out and speak with a small group. And it doesn't have to be a national organization. It can be a church function. It could be you guys, just a group of guys who are sitting around talking, That's what they're for. So you definitely need to invite them out.
Well, definitely let the audience know that I have an organization, Veteran Helping Veterans, and I have invited you several times. So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of the popular items that people are interested in today is let's talk about CampLegune. What if someone thinks that they're in that category? What is the best approach?
So if you think that you were on CampLegune and you have any of the cancers that are listed on the CampLegune list, file a claim. File a claim.
Okay.
And you want to say exposed to stationed at CampLegune for over 30 days. So you want to file that claim. The other thing is too, I want to encourage everybody to please look at the PACT Act. That PACT Act, it is at this point right now, it is a moving, living document that is changing. And when I say it's changing, what I mean by that is you're going to file some claims and they're going to deny them because Congress hasn't released the money for that particular thing. But that's okay, because when they do it, it's already in the system, and they can go ahead and make sure you get those, you get that. Don't pay anyone to file a class action PACT Act thing for you, because you don't get, when you do that class action suit, the problem is when you're suing outside of the VA, you're not suing the VA. I mean, you're suing whoever it was who the lawyers are getting your money. You're not getting that money. And sometimes based on how much you receive, it's a problem getting compensation, because you have to pay back out of this, because they're paying the lawyers out of the same pot. Sometimes it just gets really muddled. So don't spend money so that you can give somebody some money after you've waited around for years to be compensated by the VA. Use the VA. If you run into the thing where the VA won't help you, then I guess it would be worth spending the money. But at this point, we already know this is what the VA is paying for right now. So file it and get paid without having to pay some law agency.
Okay. A lot of us already have claims in. A lot of people already have claims in.
Perfect.
So if what is file? I know they ask you if you want to add to it, you provide additional information. But the process, I know you professional. So what is the process for those of us that already have an open claim?
So if you already have a specifically a PACT Act claim, or
no,
just a claim?
Just a claim that been open for 10 years and I'm still working on it.
Okay, if you have a claim that's been open for 10 years, and you have more stuff you want to add to it, just send it to the evidence, the VA Evidence Center. You can fax it or mail it in, and they'll go ahead and do it. Or you can go into any of our 55 offices and say, hey, I already have a claim, but can you upload this evidence for me? And they will do that.
And we could do that as part of the PAC Act, because it's in my case there are a couple of items that is in the PAC Act that now applies to me. It didn't before. So it's like,
yeah, so you can go ahead and you can add that information. Okay. And it won't, and if you've been waiting, it won't hurt you to add it. Here's the thing, if you've been waiting 10 years, what happens when you add new evidence is that they add it to your claim, and then somebody has to read it, and then they put it where it needs to be. If you've been waiting this long, or if you're under an appeal or something like that, that's not hurting your case. Go ahead and put that information in.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about your job at the Georgia Department of Veterans Services, Women, Diversity, and Inclusion.
Yes. So my job for women, diversity, and inclusion, the bottom line is I advocate for gender-specific things to happen within the VA system. Right now, the big push is to get them to recognize that we need mammograms. The system was originally set up for males, and it should have been, because males were the ones serving. Women have only been officially serving for 75 years. And so, and because of that, we have had to, we just haven't had a need to have, the VA there wasn't enough of us to put in mammogram machines and all that other stuff. So that's part of my job. The other part of my job is diversity and inclusion. And what that is we do a lot, VA does a lot of studies. And so I'm advocating that in those studies, they include all of the population of veterans that they serve. So we do get a lot of studies done through the VA, but it is normally, on the norm, it is white males that they are studying. And so we are advocating that all of the populations that served get into the studies. And so we need to know, is there a difference with hypertension, with Hispanics, when you're looking at Hispanics, islanders, what happens when they've gone to different places? So we're just saying, look, include women in those studies, include our LGBTQ plus communities in those, and the people of color. And we just, so that is something that the VA is trying to change. And I'm very proud of the progress they're making. But my job is to look at those studies that come out and say, hey, I see you did the study, but you didn't know Hispanics in the study. So is this study really valid when you're looking at the overall population of the veterans that you're supposed to be serving? And that's what we're trying to get them to do.
Well, is there any information that the veterans in general should know about, as far as who to contact, how to let the VA know that we would like to participate in the studies?
You know what, there is, and a lot of people don't do it. So here's what happens. When the VA sends you a survey and says, fill this out, we want to know how we're doing. A lot of people are going, y'all not going to change anything, so I'm not filling out the survey. So when you don't fill out the survey, then they decide you're probably not going to want to participate in anything else. So they just stop sending you that information. So I will get back with Herman and then send him the website where you guys can sign up and say, hey, if there's any studies going on, please keep me informed so you can read them or participate in the information that they are collecting. We can definitely do that. I can do that for you.
Okay, that is great. Mental health, would you like, you already talked about it, any additional items that you would like to talk about regarding mental health? Yes.
Here is some fantastic news about mental health. Starting January the 21st, all veterans can seek mental health care either at the VA or at a civilian doctor for free. So they are supposed to be removing all barriers that are stopping veterans who feel like they want to take their life. And they're saying, walk into Piedmont, walk into Grady Hospital, tell them you're a veteran, show them your VA card, and we're going to take care of your treatment. So I will tell you, this was announced today. I am excited about it. I am very hopeful for it. But as with everything with the VA, I want to put a small precaution on there. We here in our area, in the Atlanta area, and I suspect some other places, people have been sent out for community care, and then they receive the bill because the VA takes too long to pay. So even though it's up and it's out there and they made the announcement, I will absolutely, I'm hoping that I will be able to be part of another conversation where they really explain to us how to get that information and how to make sure it gets paid. Because, you know, like if you go into the ER, if you think you're having a heart attack, you go in the ER, you have a certain amount of time you can let the VA know. But if you took a random, raise your hand if you've ever had to go into the ER and then receive the ER bill because VA said they never know you went. We know how that works. And so what I'm saying to you is it is there, it is coming, but sometimes VA makes promises on paper before they actually have all the systems in place to make sure that you aren't carrying the burden of paying. And then by the time you do finally, figure it out, it's already on your credit score. So let's just kind of take our time, be cautious with that, but I will get you updates as they come along.
Okay, that is great. And I got some more questions, but before we do that, tell us about your other activity that you participate in, that you are running as your other organization.
Okay, so thank you for that. I have an organization, a nonprofit organization, and it's called V2 National Association of Foster Youth Inc. It's a really long name. It sounded good in the boardroom, but it covers what we do. So what we do is we work with youth, but we have a heavy emphasis on youth 13 to 18 who are aging out of the foster care system. We mentor. It's not, you don't have to meet with them in person. It's phone, it's online. So we just are growing us a network of mentors. So if you are interested in becoming a mentor, you can go to V2. Why can't I remember my organization's website right now? But you can go to our website and then you can sign up to become a mentor. And with that, we will give you some training, mentor training, and then we will go ahead and then you will be able to sign up. Then we set you up in a class, and then we can assign you some youth that you can talk with and you can mentor. So you're probably thinking, well, what kind of special training do I have to have? It's not really special training. What you're learning how to do is not fall for the tiers, because we don't want you sending any money. They can go through our organization if they have specific needs, then our organization can supply some of those. But what we are asking you for is to be available. I have a son. He was my gifted child. But while he was in college, he would ask me strange questions like, I took the chicken out and put it in the sink because I was going to cook it. But then me and my friends decided to go out to eat. And I woke up this morning, can I still eat that chicken? No, sir, do not eat that chicken. So those are the kind of things we want you to be available for. We also want you to, kids do that first semester in college and they're like, I can't do this. This is too hard. It's too much work. We just want to encourage them to stay in school and to finish, because we know that education is one of those things that ends poverty. And then we're not talking universities. Some of them are, we encourage them to even go to the tech colleges and become carpenters or plumbers. I'm gonna tell you, I probably should have become a plumber. I had a plumber come in just this week. He fixed one faucet and charged me $200. So what I'm saying is there's money to be made without a 4-year degree, but our foster kids get to go to school, get their tuition is paid. And so we just need to make sure that they're not going to a title pond place thinking that's the best way to fix their financial problems. You know how those E1s used to do when they get a checkbook and they write
Yeah.
checks for pizza. By the time the money hits the account, they already broke. That's what we want to be able to do for these young people, is just give them some very practical advice so that they're more successful as they're growing up. It's a heart project for me. I've had I have foster children that went through my home, and I only took in teenagers because those were the hard to place. And it brought me such joy that I wanted to do it on a larger scale. So this is a love project, but if you want to be part of the project, I would love to have you. You can come out sometimes when we're doing fundraising. But what we really need is just some adults that'll say, I'll be available to a kid who wants to talk because they're feeling like they're really confused or they want to give up, and we just want to help them. So my website is b2fosteringchange.org. That's b2fosteringchange.org. And so we do some simple stuff. We for some of our kids, they get into college, but they don't have parents. So we buy them the things they need for their dorm rooms, or they go into an apartment. And so we give them things. If you're from the Army, we call it the lending closet. So we have furniture that we will lend to them, and they don't need to bring it back. We're not asking for it back. What we are asking though is that they pay it forward. So maybe they get that furniture and they need it, or they get a great job and now they don't need it. If the furniture is still good, donate it to another student or donate it to someone else who needs it. Or if they're nearby, they can go ahead and just keep it local. So yeah, so that's what we do. I'm not going to take up all of your time talking about it because I can, but we just want to love on our foster youth because, it's just important.
Well, I'm gonna call you anyway because I'm interested in it for myself and my organization.
All right, awesome.
I'll also go to your website, but
Okay.
just send me a reminder, so I'll do it, and we'll keep moving. While we are doing this, let me tell the audience. Most of the audience are aware of my organization, Veteran Helping Veterans, and our official name is Veteran Helping Veterans Headquarters, Atlanta, and we are a nonprofit 501(c). We've been in the existence for 10 years, and we do three of the things we do are VSO, Veteran Services, and I contact Vita almost weekly to help me out. But our mailing address is P.O. Box 961563, Riverdale, Georgia, 30274. Let me give you that again. P.O. Box 96563. If I said something else, it's P.O. Box 961563, Riverdale, Georgia, 30274. And we are a dues paying organization. Our dues are $100 a year. And our email is bbhv3105@gmail.com. bbhv3105@gmail.com. And our telephone number is 470-377-1917. 470-377-1917. And we do a lot of help. Our number one priority is claims. And thanks to Vita, we have some experts, and I can always contact her. We have a working relationship. So thanks to that. Let's see. That's that's that. So what, talking veteran today, what's next, Vita?
So I would say what's next is, you know what? There are a lot of organizations out there doing a lot of good stuff. Veterans Helping Veterans, they're always out there helping the community. They're giving away food. They're doing clothing. They're doing all kinds of stuff. So I want to encourage all the veterans to get involved with an organization and just reach out to your community and to, meet up with some veterans and help them out, because you may know something they don't know, and they may know something you don't know that you really need. The other thing I want to make sure is that if there are any veterans who have adult special needs children who became special needs before the age of 18, please make sure that you have them either listed on your VA stuff, or if you're retired, it's in DEERS, so that something you may not know, there is help for them when you pass away, if we don't have to, and it's easier if DEERS and the VA already know about it. So if you're a retiree, make sure DEERS knows. If you are 100% permanent total, again, make sure DEERS and the VA know, because we want to make sure that our dependents are taken care of. So, and you want to make sure your spouses understand that when they pass, those special needs children should then start getting the DIC that you are receiving until they pass. So a lot of people don't know that. And then while we're trying to figure out how to do it, it's really difficult because sometimes the paperwork isn't there and family members don't know. So whoever you're leaving in charge of your special needs daughter, your special needs child, in case of your death, make sure they understand that those children are entitled to VA support. Okay.
Would you repeat your website again?
Oh, I'm sorry. It is V2 fosteringchange.org.
Okay. And one more question. This is regarding someone that enlisted in the military. Well, your term is 3 years or whatever, and you did not complete it. Are you eligible for services?
So if you did not complete, yes, I'm going to do a blanket yes. And this is why. When you actually read the law for disabilities, it says that you only have to, if you are injured with 1 day, 24 hours in service, if you are injured while on active duty, you are entitled to compensation for that injury. Now, I know that Congress passed the 24 consecutive month rule to save money, but if you were injured, then you absolutely positively should reach out to a VSO, even if you don't have all of the months, and say, look, I know I was only in there for 2 weeks, but the reason I had to leave was because when I was running, I broke my leg, and then they told me I wasn't fit for duty. You broke that leg while on active duty. You need to be service connected for the injuries on that leg.
Well, that is great. That's what I like about you. You can tell it where people can understand it. We need to wrap it up. So, final remarks.
Yes, please reach out to Herman if you have some stuff. Invite a VSO to come out and talk. Most of us will go anywhere for a cup of coffee and some donuts. So invite us out. Maybe we can have like a fireside chat on a good day at your post or someplace. But we want you to have the information, and we want you to understand and get everything that you're entitled to. So do not hesitate to reach out if you need us. And it may not be me, but there will be some certified VSOs that can show up where you are. and to any events you may have. And if you belong to post, we can also show up to post revitalizations. We can teach classes. I have a lot of suicide prevention information and classes that we're doing, and it's free. It's free because we want to spread the knowledge. So reach out, let Herman know. He has my contact information. And if you wanted to get some training or you want a speaker, just put that in the top of the email subject, and I will get it to the right people and get you scheduled.
Well, thank you. It's always great. It's been a great show. With that, thank you, and to our audience, thank you for Veterans Today. I wish the best for my co-host, Anthony Aiken, who is under the weather. With that, everyone, good afternoon, and thank you, Vita.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.